Okay, so good evening, friends. So once again, welcome back to our weekly session. So today we'll be discussing on underwater photography by Mr. Nanda Kumar. And warm welcome to Nanda Kumar and Sanjeev. Last week, Sanjeev did the presentation on snow leopard, and today Nanda Kumar will be doing on underwater photography. I think he has a lot of experience, more than 10 years in different countries. So I'm really excited to hear from him. So without any further delay, let's hear from him. Over to you, Nanda.
Thank you. Good evening, friends. I am Nanda Kumar. I am basically from Bangalore. So just to let me start with a brief video to welcome you all. That's a small intro about where I go and what I do and what is my passion. So today I'm here to share my experience with you of my last 10 years of journey underwater. And let us begin with how I started and where I started. I'm basically from Mysore with a master's degree in commerce. I shifted to Bangalore in around 1987, 88, and I have a company called Nanda Idea Space, which is an offset printing unit. And I'm also founder, director of Nature Action India Private Limited, which, as you can read here, is a one-stop solution for all sorts of passion and taste for outdoors, from wildlife safaris to off-road trips to scuba diving trips to underwater photography, then apparel to camera bags and many more things. I'm a passionate swimmer from the beginnings. Starting from 2010 till date, I have done around 800 dives covering more than 40 dive destinations in 11 countries. And in my free time, I am also a nature adventurist with the wildlife photography. I have done more than 1,500 safaris in 15 countries, covering more than 60 national parks. I have two kids, both of them. One is in Germany, one is in Bangalore now. Both of them are scuba divers and professional photographers. My wife is a lecture professor and a head of the department in BMS College of Engineering in Bangalore, and she is also a professional scuba diver. So to start with, I started my scuba diving journey in 2010 April in a place called Nethrani Island, which is near around 8 hours journey from Bangalore, near Mangalore. And that was the first time I took into water in 2010 April. From that day till day, I have traveled, as I was telling earlier, around 11 countries. And 2010, I did the course, and my first dive experience to say was not really a very good one, because very first day I was very nervous and I was not comfortable to get into the water. But thanks to my elder son who was with me and one of my scuba diving instructor, whom you can see here. This is the person who was my instructor on day one. So they helped me to get into the water, and thanks to them, today I'm here as a passionate scuba diver. And after that, around 2010 October, first week, I went to Maldives, where this is the liveaboard I was staying in, which is called as a live on board ship, where it will be 6 rooms with 12 rooms with 24 photographers or scuba divers can accommodate themselves. And this is where I took my advanced photography session courses, which has helped me to go up to 40 meters in the water. That is when I took my first ever camera in life. Rather, earlier to that, I never even had a chance to either buy a film camera or a aim and shoot camera. This was the first time I took a Olympus TG5 and started my, sorry, Olympus Tough, and started my photography underwater. So before that, my experience either on the land or on water was nil. So once I got to the camera, I realized that how good an investment it was, and slowly I started moving up. And then I started traveling more and more into underwater photography and became little professional myself and started learning things the hard way and started visiting many more countries. After Maldives, I went to Sri Lanka. From Sri Lanka, I went to Malaysia. From Malaysia to Indonesia. Indonesia to Philippines. Philippines to Australia. Sorry, New Zealand. New Zealand to Fiji. Fiji to Tonga. Then this side, I have traveled up to Borneo. Lang Islands. These are some of the countries, and this is how I started exploring. This is one of my images from Maldives, where the exploration dive I tried to do a little bit with the Rex, and my activities took me to many places like this, where I started learning about the night dives and getting close interaction with the sharks, and then slowly. And there was one of the times when I had an opportunity to go to a place called Tonga in Wawawa Islands, where that is the only place in the world where in the common temperature of water, one can swim along with humpback whales. This is one of my own photograph, clicked just few meters away from the humpback whale. And that is how my passion has taken me from the professional diveboard diver to a passionate underwater. And then I was a regular swimmer. I always had an inclination for water. And with all this exploration, exploring in the new, so it has opened a totally a new world for me. That is where I got started getting interest in the photography. Before explaining something about underwater photography, I think many of you will not be aware much about scuba diving. I think you people will be interested to learn a little bit about scuba diving before understanding underwater photography. And please, gentlemen, feel free to ask any question in between, and you can stop me, and I can explain and go further. So, all about scuba diving. Now, scuba diving is something which is the next level of a passion, I would say, because there are people who are happy with their wildlife photography or trekking or off-road trips and other things. But another thing which will take you to the next level is scuba diving. So scuba diving is something for which, let me explain with the basic things here. Now this is what you people need to have in scuba diving. Okay, now a person will have basically a wetsuit. This will be usually from 1.5 mm to 3 mm based on the one's capacity to withstand the temperature in the water, which is very important, and it will be safeguard you against all unwanted elements which can be touched by yourself or which can come in contact with your skin. This is a safety margin. And another thing what you need is a mask and then a snorkel and a tank. This tank will usually have nitrogen, which is the common air available all around us, and that will have 22% of oxygen in it. And there are some next level of diving where you can increase the level of oxygen. Though people show the gloves here as a general practice and towards the conservation habit, we oppose the usage of the gloves because gloves will tempt you to touch things which you are not supposed to touch. So when you don't have gloves, you will become cautious enough not to touch things. And very important for your easy movement and the leg movement is the fins. And for the protection of the fins, you will have booties. And then there will be a buoyancy compensated device, which we will call as BCD, in which you can fill the air and regulate the percentage of air inside the BCD by removing the air or adding the air with the regulator and the knobs available for you. And regulator is for the main instrument which you need for breathing, and equally the same thing similar to the regulator is an octopus, but octopus is generally used as an emergency regulator for the safety of your body. The basic rule in scuba diving is that you are not supposed to dive alone at any time unless you are certified and taken a special course for the solo diving. You are always supposed to dive with one friend at least, and in case of emergency, anything goes wrong and that guy goes less on air or his tank is and his regulator has a problem. So then the octopus will come into picture. That is one of the reasons why it has been marked as a bright yellow thing, and it will be so that it's easily recognizable. And towards the end of the BCD, from the tube, there will be a gauge which will show you how much of the air is left in your tank and what is the depth you are in and how much more time you can stay. And some of the regulators will also have a compass to know the directions and other things. And then there is another thing some of the regulators will have is dive computer, but nowadays this has become almost an extinct because there are a lot of dive computers which are being manufactured now in the size of the watch, where you can see how many dives you have done so far, and in the particular dive underwater it will show you at what depth you are, how much time you have spent, and what is your deco time. Once you get into the serious level of learning, all those things will be understood. So your watch will help you to safeguard yourself in the water. So once you know all the equipment, the next thing is from where and how you do the scuba diving courses. Basically, there are two famous institutions in India. One is Scuba Schools International, which is called as SSI, and another one is called as PADI, which is Professional Association of Dive Instructors. So Scuba Schools International being famous in India and abroad to considerable extent with a head office in Germany, they will provide you a course officially called as open water diver. Before that, if someone is interested, they can do a one-day scuba diving course, which is called as a Discover Scuba Diving or DSD course. Or some people go and start with a snorkeling for 1 or 2 days or once or two occasions, and then once they are comfortable, then they will come back and do a DST, and then they are comfortable, they will get into open water diver. Open water diver is basically a 4-day course where first day you will learn all the theories, and second day they will take you to the swimming pool to learn all those things what you do in salt water at more than 5 meters or 10 meters. They will try to acclimatize you for all the equipment so that it will be easy for you when you get into the water. That is called as the practical session in the swimming pool, which may take 3 hours to 6 hours based on one's comfort zone. And once that is done, third day, you will be taken for the first ever venture into the seawater, salt water rather, which what you call. So there you will have to repeat everything, whatever you have done in the swimming pool, again here. So which will be just to make you more comfortable in the water. And then the same day, next dive, they will take you to the little bit more deeper and make you more comfortable with the water. And then they will help you how to remove the BCD, put on the BCD, then how to remove your mask, clean the mask and put it. And if there is a fogging in the mask, I mean a small air entering into the mask, how to remove it. All those basic skills will be taught. That will be the third day. Then the fourth day, first dive, you are allowed to dive with your buddy holding on to one of the dive instructors so that you are comfortable. And once you are comfortable, dive instructor will let you free to go into the water along with your buddy. Then that day, fourth dive, which is the dive where you will be on your own, that will be your another freedom, or rather what we call the license to explore the underwater world. From that day onwards, once you get certified, you will be permitted to dive between 18 to 20 meters wherever in the world with the certification what they give. That certificate will come to your mail in the form of a small credit card type of a thing, which you can print and convert into a card and keep it in with you wherever you go. So once you get into open water, the first thing people do as photographers, all of us, we will immediately try to get accustomed well and try to get a camera. So once you get the camera and start exploring the water up to 20 meters, you will realize that majority of the things are in between 20 and 30 meters. So that is where you think that, okay, I will have to go to the next step. So once you go to the next step, that is called was the advanced open water diver, or what we call in our term as the advanced adventurer, which will be a 3 days course with 5 dives, and we will also teach you in 5 different specialties. You can select specialty as a fish identification, wreck diving, if the wreck is available in the dive place, or the photography, or the navigation diving, and there will be a list of items where we can select 5 specialties, and you will do 5 specialties in 5 dives to certify yourself as an advanced adventurer. An advanced adventurer can venture up to 32 meters, and in case of rare situations, you can go up to 38, 40 meters, but not beyond 40 meters. That is the thing. So once you are an advanced adventurer, you are fully equipped to go up to 40 meters and go into the unseen circumstances and explore the excitement of the world and become a photographer. Now, there are many specialized courses in many places in Andaman Nicobar Island or in Red Sea or near Egypt or in Indonesia, I think, where special photography courses can be taken to become more advanced in the photography and different types of photography underwater. And underwater is not just that. Once you become an advanced adventurer, you can further go to become like a stress and rescue diver, where you will be certified with CPR techniques and how to rescue people in distress. So that generally it is the responsibility of all the scuba divers to help people who are in distress or the co-divers who are in distress. For that, majority of the people take to stress and rescue diving and become rescue divers. And now, coming to the major part of the discussion, underwater photography. Many people ask me the same question, why underwater photography? Now, basically, we are all photographers here. Many of us, you people do bird photography, nature photography, wildlife photography, landscape photography, portrait photography, fashion photography. There are many things. So like that, there are many areas of photography underwater also. When you become a scuba diver, come out and tell someone that I have done a scuba diving, I have seen a shark, I have seen a turtle, and there was so many colorful reefs and other things. People will only think that, okay, yeah, this guy is telling something. We are not very much sure. So, already. But by the way, how many people have you done one day diving or one time diving or snorkeling? Any one of you? Hello? Okay, so
Yeah, I've done
that,
snorkeling.
oh, very good, sir. Where, sir?
Here itself at Daminiyat Islands.
Ah, okay. I
We have
think
some
that place
islands
has a
here.
lot of turtles and sharks at 8 to 10 meters, I was told. Is it true, sir?
Sorry?
They have a lot of sharks and turtles there also, I was told. Is it true?
Turtles are there. I have not seen
Ah, okay.
sharks, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of underwater coral which is very beautiful.
Ah, okay. So that is what happens when you do the snorkeling and come back and tell your friends or even at home, they say, can I see something? Now that is where the
Correct.
requirement of the photography comes. That means when you go there, click and come out and show, it is the question of pride to say that I have done scuba diving, I am a scuba diver and these are my images. That is the basic interest. And what is so interesting about underwater photography? Like land photography, if someone is a wildlife photographer, they enjoy clicking a tiger or they enjoy going to Masai Mara for the birding and the wildlife photography. Like that in underwater photography also, there are destinations where some destinations are famous for turtles and manta rays. Like Maldives is famous for manta rays. Then Sipadan is famous for turtles. And there is so many, and there is Galapagos where you can get to see a lot of hammerhead sharks. Whereas if you go to Indonesian Raja Ampat and other thing, there is a huge school of colorful fishes which you can see. So like that, there is thing goes on and on and on. And then who can become an underwater photographer? Now that is a valid question. Now I will. Okay. Yeah. Now, who can become underwater photographer? Now, to become an underwater photographer, your basic requirement is you should be a certified diver. Even a entry-level certified diver, which is an open water diver, can do underwater photography. But generally, it is always assumed that an underwater photographer always tends to go more than 20 meters, and he will cross the limit, and then he will be in problem because if the dive center comes to know that you only have a open water dive course, dive certification, and you are going 25 meters, there is a possibility that they will notify SSI and they will cancel your card, and they will notify all the dive centers around the world through a common system, where you will get into problem of not diving again. So to be safe, if you don't want to do advanced certified course, it's better you venture into underwater photography up to 15 to 18 meters so that you are safe. Otherwise, if you want to be an explorative nature of photographer, then you have to do the advanced photographer. So that means to be a photographer, basically you need to be a scuba diver. And then another thing, there are the basic requirements of underwater photography. Now, number one, to begin with, you have to have a camera with housing. And nowadays there are many cameras available without housing, which are like for example, I was told there is a camera called Coolpix by Nikon, which is compatible up to 30 meters underwater. So you don't need to have an housing. So those are the aim and shoot cameras wherein you can take a normal photography, and if you're happy with that, you're happy with this. But if you want to go further and become a professional photographer, what you need is an advanced level photography. Now, just let me explain you the things, basic things what is required here. Now, the camera I am not showing here. I am using this housing for, as you can see here, Canon 5D Mark III, and 5D Mark III and 5DS are the common housing because the operation buttons are same. If any of you Canon people here, I think you will understand. So this is the housing I use for my Canon 5DSR body, and there is a main zoom lens which is for 815mm fisheye lens. So 815mm fisheye lens, I can take wonderful wide-angle photographs, and then there is a small wide-angle zoom which is for the 15mm fisheye lens, which is a fixed lens, and then I will have another zoom port which is for 100mm fisheye, 100mm macro lens. So these are the basic ingredients I have. That means I have 3 lenses and 1 body with 1 housing, and the major ingredient I have for the photography is the flashlight. This is a flashlight which is I use Inon Z240 is the model number, and these flashlights will be fixed. I will you people must have seen the image which I have shown in my social media post when I have shown the full doom. I think if you remember that photograph, you understand there will be a housing, this doom is fixed, and both the sides these 2 flashes are there. And along with 2 flashes, I will always have one external light which will help me in case of I'm going on for a video mode. So this is a 9000 lumen lamp I have, xenon, and this helps me to click wonderful videos. And these are the 2 clamp rods which I have to connect from this housing to the doom. Now this is 1 clamp which I will fix here with this clamps and clamp buttons. So this will become one side of the housing, other side of the housing, and the picture. And then generally I will always carry a standby video. Earlier I used to use a GoPro, but now I have a Sony 4K camera which comes handy whenever I want to do the videos. And now this is a vacuum pump which will be used to remove the residual air once I close the thing. And these are the connecting cables between the flash and the main body. And this is the O-rings for all the waterproofing. And these are the regular chargers and the AAA batteries which I use for the thing. And so I hope I have explained everything. Strobes are there, LED video lights are there, focus lights are there, and then ports, and then lenses I have not kept here, and syncing cables. This is the basic requirements of the camera. Now, once you have the camera, that doesn't mean that we have everything. Having a camera and full set is just halfway to become a good photographer. Now, to be a good photographer, basic thing you need underwater is stability. Because as you all can assume, in water, you will be swimming without any support all around. So that means the basic stability against the current or in the normal water is very important. And then the buoyancy. Buoyancy is something like when you are shooting, let us say, a turtle on the ocean bed. And the bed has lot of things in it where you don't know what you are going to touch and how you are going to do. So it is always required that you are at least few inches away from the ocean bed and you are not touching anything. That is called as the buoyancy control, where with a breathing control, you can make yourself stable. And then the complete manual control, because your both the hands will be handling the camera and your entire control will be manual on your body just by your breathing. And then the basics of lighting, like all you photographers know the importance of lighting for the photography. So basics of lighting is very important to gauge the distance from the object to the camera, and then how to focus the lamp, and then positioning the strobes from both the sides. These are very important things. And apart from that, the way, for example, when we are going to, let us say when we are going to Corbett. So the moment we go to Corbett, we have our own choice of driver, and we have our own choice of naturalist, or we have our own choice of operators with whom we go. So like that way, whenever you go in underwater for a photography, it is required that you study the area and understand which lodge you're staying in or which ship you're traveling in, and who is the guide and who is the camera guide and who is the spotter and what is the location. So a good dive guide, a good spotter, and a knowledge of location is very important to become a good underwater photographer. Now, as I was explaining, you can see here, this is a full-fledged set underwater. Now, this is the main camera. I have put 815 lens now, and this is the strobe. The strobes are connected by the rods with a sinking cable, and there is another sinking cable here to another rod. And these strobes are flexible, like I can flex it almost like 3-4 feet on either side. And based on the object which is in front of me, like there is a huge whale shark which is more than a few meters in length, and then I have to go a little back and shoot, then I can position my light accordingly, and this light can be twisted and turn around in multiple directions easily, because this has a manual ball bearing kind of a thing. And now, as you can see, there is one GoPro here, which I use sometimes when I find that while clicking the image, there is some action going on and I need a video of that. And when video is on and my photography is not of much consequence, I switch on this light, because this light will be very harsh light with 9,000 lumens, which will affect the photography very badly if I use both simultaneously. So sometimes if I switch on the focus light, I will switch off the flash lamps, and if flash lamps are on and I am not, TV video mode is not on, then I will switch off this. This actually usually my focus lamp or the zoom light becomes more essential in times of night times. Now, this is one of my pictures taken by my friend. This is a purple, we call it as a cauliflower jellyfish from this thing, and this is how I was shooting, and I was clicked. Now you see, because it is the close circumstances, I have taken both the flashes very closely, and I'm not using the focus lamp. The focus lamp is so fully down, and I don't want the full light to be on the subject. So I have taken only one flash on the subject, another flash I have turned it around. So this is to tell a little bit about the photography. And now, just before telling the types of photography, I think I'll take you through, to break the monotony, a small video. This is me with my camera in action, clicked by one of my kids. This is with a big zoom. You can do a half and half photography also, where you have a 850 lens and the big 10 inches zoom. You can do this kind of photography. You can see me in action in front of the camera. This is being shot by one of my drivers. So now, learning a little bit about underwater photography. Now, like land, in underwater also, you can switch over to at least 3 kinds of photographies. To start with, let me explain you about wide angle photography. Now, usually wide angle photography, the first thing I use is a 815 fisheye lens, with 8 inches zoom port, and in 815 fisheye lens, because it is not a fixed lens and it is a variable lens, so we will also have a bearing ring which will help us to vary the focus length from 8 mm to 15 mm. So this is one of the images taken with 15 mm lens. And when you come to 8 mm fisheye full, what image you get is something like this. This is clicked with 8 mm, and you can see the coverage which has been done. 8 mm lens will almost cover at least up to 100 to 120 degree of area. And this is a coral scape clicked in Puerto Galera in Philippines. And here is one more wide angle lens. This is actually clicked at the night time. This is a shot which was a few meters down below, and I had to click it from the top. And this was clicked with a flash in the full firing mode. And this is another wide angle click. I think this has been clicked with f15 and with flash fully on, and almost at an ISO of around 400. Because in underwater, there is no need to bump up your ISO as you already have a flash. So the ISO will not be of much consequences. So usually we click between 200 and 400, which is more than enough because the flash will take care of the balance of the lighting. So as you can see here, there is another dive buddy who is also trying to take a video with his focus light on. So this is another wide angle photography which is done in Raja Ampat. And by the way, Raja Ampat is called as a lost paradise on the earth, where it is not, the fishes and the coral and other things are not even explored by 50 to 20%. And at the same time, Raja Ampat is very famous for bird of paradise. There are exclusive islands where you can do birding, and the landscape photography there is unbelievably amazing. This is another image from Raja Ampat, where it was taken from the close proximity. There are Surgeon Fisher School, and you can see the focus on the Surgeon Fisher School, because there is a far behind, there is also a tuna school, which is not in the focus. Now this is another image from Raja Ampat with a wide angle lens. These are single spotted blue tiled snappers, black spot snappers, what we call. And this is barracuda. Like anybody who knows scuba diving a little bit well, they'll always have fascination towards barracudas, because barracudas are very inquisitive fishes which will form beautiful circles. I have seen barracuda schools where few hundred barracudas roam around all around us. And this is, you can see, just this one image will tell you what can be the color composition of a photography underwater. Now this was clicked in a place called Tubataha Reef National Park in Philippines, and you can see the colors of sea fangs all around and how vibrant they are. So this was clicked with around I think between 10 or 12 mm, and it has been cropped also considerably. But I'm just showing you how beautifully you can click an image with a wide angle lens and proper flash lighting. Now this is another table coral with a school of snappers, and you can see the depth of coverage. This was clicked with aperture of f14 or f16 to get maximum coverage of the depth. And this is some videos taken with a wide angle lens with same 5DSLR camera. These are some of the examples of wide angle lens underwater while taking the videos. And now let us come to the portrait photography, for which I regularly use a flat fixed lens of 15 mm. This is a nursing shot clicked in the night dive in Maldives using a 15 mm lens and normal flashlight. I know. This is another shot from Sipadan Island, clicked with a 15 mm lens again. And now this is Marble Ray in Maldives, again clicked at the night time. The advantage of having a good camera like 5D SR is the focusing is very sharp and very accurate, and you will get maximum time to click because the focusing is so instant that you will not lose the subject, because this marble rays are very quick in movement. So if you have a normal camera like 60D or 7D or something like that, focusing may become difficult, and you will lose the sharpness of the subject. So it is very important to have a very good camera like a 5DSR or a D850, or now of course there are many mirrorless cameras. I'm not much aware about them, but I'm sure their focusing will be also very good. Now, this is one of my favorite images clicked with 15 mm lens. This is a baby humpback whale from Wow Island, Tonga. There, we are not allowed to scuba dive with them. It is only you are allowed to do the snorkeling, and you can go a few meters into water and try to click the thing. And if you can see, there are a lot of fishes. This fish itself will be around 2.5 to 3 feet in length. Can you imagine then what is the size of this whale shark? So this was one such chance with a good camera and lighting. Now this is a manta ray, which is a very, very, very normal thing if you happen to dive in Maldives in the proper dive stations. And here actually I'm showing you only one, but there are cases, there are situations when we land up with 10, 20 manta rays all around and we are totally confused what to shoot. So at the end of the day, what we do is just leave the camera and enjoy the show. So that has happened to me many times. So when a single manta ray is there, we will get beautiful opportunity to click some portraits like this. And this is hawksbill turtle from Lakshadweep. Lakshadweep incidentally is almost equal to Maldives. There was some problem with bleaching of the corals and all, but now with the efforts of the local authorities, a lot of things are getting improved. Lakshadweep is becoming a top class heritage spot for scuba diving slowly. And this season, I'm sure it is going to rock. And this is one of my favorite clicks from Lembe. The fish is very colorful and a very rare find. It is available in 4 or 5 places in the world. The fish is called mandarin fish from Lembe Island. And this fish specialty is, you can see this fish only between evening 5 to 5:30 or 5:30 to 6:30 based on the sunset time, because at the time of sunset, all the male fishes will come and start dancing around, attracting the female fish. Now here the small fish is the male fish and the bigger one is the female. And once the female accepts the male, the mating happens hardly for a few seconds. Actually here I could not catch the mating shot still, because it is just when they were coming, I was lucky enough to get this shot. So this is to say that how fast and accurate you have to be underwater to get very good shots. So till date, with my best efforts, I could not get a mating shot of this fish. Now this is a very aggressively looking but very gentle life of this thing. This is called Morayu. This is from Bunaken Island in Indonesia. And now, after telling a little bit about portrait photography, let me show you what are the macro things. This is called blue ring octopus. This octopus will be size of just a golf ball, but it is dangerous enough and poisonous enough. And it is told that a small bite from it can kill the person within 2 minutes. Now, this is the color changing cuttlefish. And now let me explain something about macro photography underwater. To be a macro photographer, basic thing you need is buoyancy and manual control over yourself, because macro photography is generally done on the bottom of the sand, just few inches away from the sand. And the most dangerous things there can be a stonefish or a frogfish. If it even touches your body, there can be a big problem. So that's why macro photography is for the people who are very well trained and or more buoyant. For example, I have done 800 dives Still today, my macro photography is still bad, but whereas my younger son, who has done just around 110, 120 dives, but his macro photography is unbelievably amazing because he has a perfect control on his buoyancy and manual control. This is one of the thing. This is called as a Lembe Sea Dragon. Okay, just to be interactive, guys, I think I'll be boring. Can someone tell me what will be the length or width of it? Any one of you? Excuse me.
You can unmute now in case I just enabled.
Yeah, you can unmute and answer me. I'll be very happy to talk to you people because I'll be here with a few more minutes for you. 5 centimeter. Okay, thank you, people. I could not see your screen. Ravi, 2 centimeter. You are told it too small. Anyhow, this is what it is. It will be between 3 to 5 centimeters from the tile. It may be another 1 centimeter. It is hardly 4 to 6 centimeters in length, but thickness wise, it will be hardly anything, and it is very, very, very difficult to see them. You can recognize them only when they are little open like this and with their swift movement. Even here, my photo is not very sharp because the fins, whatever are here, not being seen properly because this is not a very sharp click. My concentration was mainly here. And this was clicked with a 100 mm lens and with a plus 10 diopter. Like for 100 mm lens, in front of the lens, there is a removable diopters which come. So where using that, you can click bigger objects. Now, let me show you one more macro, this thing. Now, this. First time when I saw this, I thought this is like the glass out things which come from Malaysia or Australia. This is a butterfly nudibranch from Philippines, and they are endemic to very few places in the world, and it is now not available in India or anywhere else also. And any guess about the size of this? See this. From head to the toe, it will be hardly 4.5 to 5 centimeters. And generally, they open up their tentacles not very often. So because of that, general length will be 5 centimeters. So you can imagine how difficult it is to notice them. But this is not a very big thing to notice and shoot because when they come to the open space like this, it will be easy to recognize them. Now this is another favorite thing of mine, red Fabulina nudibranch, and this main branch where it is resting is called tunicate. Now these nudibranches, they try to feed on the tunicates or the small tunicates around here, and they are very colorful and really a pleasure to watch. And just to tell you the size of this is exactly 3 to 3.5 centimeters, and the thickness will be again maybe around 1 centimeter. So when they open up, there will be 1 centimeter by 3 centimeters. And this is a spider crab. Let me admit myself, my idea was not to click this. Actually, I was searching for something very important in the back, and suddenly I saw something moving and I clicked. Only when I came out, I found that I clicked some red spider crab, which on your own you cannot search and click. So it is a rare find for me. At the same time, accidental find, I would say. This is from Apo Island, Philippines. Okay, this is orange nudibranch from Lembe, Indonesia. This is one of the biggest nudibranches available, like almost like 6 inches or 15 centimeters. And as you can see here, there is something special also here. Can someone tell me what is that? You can see here a parasite, beautiful purple nudibranch. Now, when this is 14 centimeter, you can imagine what will be the size of this. Just 1 centimeter. So what these nudibranches will do, they will place themselves on the bigger nudibranches like this, and when they find it safe and they are comfortable, they will come out of the main nudibranch supportive body and land on any coral or anything they want. And again, when they want to move, they find another nudibranch in the same area and try to move away like this. And this is a porcelain crab on a sea anemone. Actually, the sea anemone corporates are the basic places where this anemone fishes, they are what we call nemos, live. So, but these crabs take shelter on the anemone corporate, because anemone corporate, if it is touched by hand, they have a kind of chemical which is released and which will make your hands or any part of the body, it creates itching, which will be there for almost 2-3 days. Though it is not harmful or dangerous, but it is, the itching is very problematic for 2-3 days. So that itching, because of that, these crabs find a very good hiding place and they are safe there. Now this is by the color, it is we call it as a jewel of the sea, and this is a colorful nudibranch called Limandora from Lembe, Indonesia. Incidentally, Lembe is known as paradise or a heritage site for macro diving. There, Lembe, you just have to select few meters of area, your camera, yourself, and the spotter. Within 1 hour, if you are lucky, you can find even 30 to 40 different species of macro organisms. Now, this is Burgundy pygmy seahorse. Now, pygmy seahorse is a dream for every photographer who is doing the macro photographer, because for the simple reason that their measurement is only this, and this is almost like this image is more than 10 times magnified. So you are seeing this. Otherwise, they are so well camouflaged with matching colored Gregorian fans that it is virtually impossible unless we have a good guide with us who knows what lives where. So, and another thing, once you spot them, getting them under focus and clicking is another problematic thing. So if getting one is called as a good occasion, getting two in a frame with eyesight is a real blessing, and I was blessed to have one such shot in the lifetime. This is the only shot of two nudibranches I have in a single frame till date. And now this, suddenly to look at, it looks like some fungus or algae moving around, but actually it is a living nudibranch. This is the biggest of the seahorses, long-snouted seahorse, which is generally available in all mock diving sites. And you can see them in different colors, from yellow to pink to light green to red to orange, in many colors. And a lot of seahorses come with the spines also. And now this is the favorite anemone fish. Anemone fishes, actually, I can give a presentation only on anemone fishes, showing around 25 to 30 different species and their videos and other things. But because of the time, I thought I will show one of this, which I have clicked in India itself in Havelock Island, in Andamans. And now this is another beautiful shrimp, which is called a harlequin shrimp. This was clicked in Simlan Island, Thailand. And now this is a frogfish usually grows up to 16 to 18 inches. But when they are juvenile, for the first few weeks, their size, you can see the size reference of how small this fish was and how it was clicked. This is the finger of the dive guide, and this is a click. Actually, this image is not mine. This is a Google reference, but this image is mine. There you can see the frogfish, and you can imagine the magnification I must have done. So this is a frogfish from Indonesia again. And now this is this is called as the banana nudibranch because they come in the size of a big banana itself. And suddenly you look at some of the time, you feel that a banana is falling on the reef. So this is almost like, this comes in the size of around 6 to 7 inches. And this is from Bunaken, Indonesia. Again, shot with 100 mm direct macro lens. This is a coconut shell octopus. When I say coconut shell octopus, earlier there was a time in Indonesia when people used to throw all their coconut, because coconut is a staple food in Indonesia, and many people used to throw the coconut shells earlier to sea, and where this octopus used to take shelter in that. But now, by the passage of time, when coconut shells started getting alternative uses and technology has improved to make use of them somewhere, so the coconut shell, the octopus has learned to replace the coconut shell with a seashells, dead seashells. Now this is coconut shell octopus from Lembe, Indonesia again. So that's it. Now after telling everything, many people ask me, but why scuba diving? What are the advantages? Why someone does the scuba diving? Now there are few different levels. Number one, for yourself. You want to live a life which is different, which is not normal, and you want to tell people that, yes, my passion is something different, and I'm not a normal human being. That is where scuba diver comes to. Can you imagine in the world today, with a population of around 700 crores of people, hardly 22 million scuba divers are there. And in India, you just imagine, particularly in India, underwater photographers, you can count them by numbers easily. So that means that to say how passionate this hobby can be and how special can one person. And then scuba diving and family. Nowadays, holiday with the family is a common phenomenon, and scuba diving is one thing where people can do it as a hobby together. This is me, my younger son, my wife, and my elder son. So scuba diving is also a family thing. And then friends. Now here we were in a place called Sipadan Island in I think 2017. That day, the Malaysia Independence Day was there. There are two Malaysians who are holding the flags, and there is one man from Philippines, and there are two Indonesians, and I was clicking the image. So that means to say that scuba diving is a group activity. It will make people join from various parts of the world in one place and try to understand each other and become friends. So it is a friends activity. And scuba diving is for exploration. You get to explore things which is not possible by a normal human being. So scuba diving is also a need for exploration. And then scuba diving for conservation. The amount of garbage which water has today is something unbelievable. Now, if that can be cleaned and that can be made known to the public worldwide or outside, it's only a scuba diver is possible. And also, all scuba divers are generally disciplined enough to carry the garbage which has been thrown by the careless people. Like, see, you can see one bottle here, one bottle in another hand, and there are many. Like, whenever we go, while coming back, we try to bring something back and make the ocean clean. Now, you just go through this in 2015, it was estimated that around 5.3 million to 40 million tons of plastic trash wash into the ocean. And most experts say that the trash in the ocean is ever increasing, and it is scuba divers who can join hands to clean the ocean. Now, with that, please into scuba diving. What are the benefits? It increases the emotional well-being. It improves the blood circulation because of the movement underwater, and it really helps you to relieve the stress. Just being there among colorful reefs can be more than a meditation, and it improves concentration capacity because when you start concentrating on the fishes, and it reduces the blood pressure, it increases the strength and flexibility of muscles, and it helps you visit paradisical places and healing effects of the salt water under sunlight, then connecting with the nature, building of long-lasting friendships, feeling of freedom, and increase, basically and most importantly, it will help you increase your confidence and self-esteem. So that's it, gentlemen. I've taken almost 1 hour. So now, if this passion drives you and you want to learn more about scuba diving, feel free to contact me anytime. Here is our email ID and our website. So, and I am always open for the discussions and to help you with things. Thank you, friends. Thank you, friends. I hope I have taken sufficient time. And now to okay. This is who? Mr. Harish Raj. You want to know that have I met with any hazardous situation at any time? Not really. At least not by this thing. But hazardous situation in water never come. But it has only happened to me once because I had earlier I never used to go with my own equipment. I had hired a bad regulator. Because of that, I had to gulp some water, and I almost got into there is something called as whirlpools underwater, which we call the circles. So I got stuck in a whirlpool 5 meters, I was dragged to 50 meters, then came up, and then I was taken back from the whirlpool by my dive guide. And it was a long story, so that was one thing. But otherwise, there was another time which in Lakshadweep, we were diving, and only two of us, me and my dive guide, and we went. The current was so strong that when we came up, we didn't know where is the boat, and the dive guide was very confident that he can find the boat if he goes. And I very boldly told, yeah, no problem, go and bring the boat. And after 10, I was there maybe 15-20 minutes, but that 15-20 minutes was like one lifetime for me. You can imagine, with a strong waves, camera in hand. At one time, I thought I can just use the camera, go and save myself. So that's what has happened to me. But otherwise, there was no need to panic, but it was something like that. My entire kit, assuming that you already have the camera, lens, everything, Mr. Ranjit. Now, for example, if your camera, like my 5DSL camera, which is around 2 lakhs now, my housing and lights and everything has costed me around 8 lakh rupees in Indian money. Actually, underwater photography equipment, there are many dealers. In India, there is nobody, unfortunately. And I don't think even Dubai or any of the Middle East countries, also UAE, also have that. But I have a dealership for an underwater equipment from a company called Scuba Symphony from Malaysia, where we take all the inquiries, pass it on to them. But because of the corona nowadays, the materials are not coming. Otherwise, we help all Indian scuba divers, and there are one or two for scuba diving photographers in Dubai also who take my help for the equipment. So you can always get it. Otherwise, there are that VNH photo or black scatter images from America. Are a very good this thing. So for Nikon D850, my best suggestion will be to have CNC. Though I personally use Nauticam, but CNC is more stronger and compact this thing, housing. And of course, housing, there is Ecolite, there is CNC, there is Nauticam, there are more than 4 or 5 different brands. So if you personally write to me, I can help you in a better way also. My personal casing is Nauticam, but other than Nauticam, CNC is always good. Lenses on underwater mainly depends on your camera. For example, mine is what is that? Mine is a 5DSL camera, which has a limitation to use only 3 types of lenses. Like I can use 815mm or 15mm or 100mm. Whereas if someone has a 70 or 70 Mark II, they can use 100mm, they can use 60mm, they can use 1022 and 815 or 15mm also. But the restriction will be, as I was telling you, the focusing quality is much better and video quality is much better in 5DSL. That's the thing. Mr. Arvind, which time is the perfect? My personal timing for the underwater diving is always early morning between 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. And then I enjoy my diving between 4 and 6 p.m. And I am a personal addict for the night dives. I always enjoy my night dives. And regarding the manage of the lights and how to get sharp focus, that is now sharp focus depends on the equipment and basically your ability to manually control yourself, as I told you. How do we control the camera manual setting of the camera underwater? See, it is not a big deal. Like for example, if you have all the backside buttons, so it is I could not show the housing here. Otherwise, it is very like whatever buttons you can see outside without your housing, you will see every single button easily underwater also. And focusing in underwater will not be a much difficult thing, because generally we keep the ISO as a standard between 200 and 400, and then usually we keep the aperture as f40. And then many a times I don't click at the manual mode. I will go for the aperture value mode, which will be AV mode, which will make me comfortable underwater. Yeah. Yes, sir. Mr. Libin wants a group photo of the screen. So all of you, if you can enable your this thing, your videos, so it will be easy for us also to. How do you decide the length? That is a very tricky question, Mr. Libin, because the problem underwater is, if you are taking a wide angle, you have no choice to take the macro. And if you are taking macro, you have, like, as I was telling, it is very important to know the location and the guide and the spotters. So they will tell you what is the major fish life there. So depending on that, you will select your lenses. But at least every single dive, it happens to me in such a way that I have taken the wide angle lens and I see a beautiful macro subject, which I see through my eyes and come back. So that compromise is always required.
Yeah, thank you. That was actually a question from Austin.
Okay.
Okay, some more videos. I think we have few more slots on the screen.
Mr. Ravi, suspended particles. That is a very serious problem. And my suspended particles missing in the image is thanks to Photoshop. I think I'll have to agree that part. See, white balance is tricky, as even I have experienced. But usually what I do is I will keep it on the Kelvin around 5,600 to 6,000, and then I will increase the depth or brightness in the while processing. But at the same time, because of the flash, the white balance will not be a very serious problem underwater. Though you can control the density of the flash, which will, like, if you click one photo and you have time, and you can see, look at the photo and how bad it is. So you can increase the strength of the flash and click a better photo with a better brightness. Okay, sir. So I think that's it.
Okay. Any other questions? You can directly unmute and ask. So I enabled the setting now.
Okay, Mr. Vinod Kumar and
Hello, sir.
yes, sir.
Hi. Just I would like to know, like, GoPro, how it is working. Is it very good, or do you recommend it?
Sir, GoPro is not for a photographer. It is for the family. My personal experiences, because in GoPro, whatever you get, you can either post them on Facebook or WhatsApp or anything, and then you can enjoy those videos, because those videos after editing becomes very soft, and GoPro photographs cannot be processed or taken into printout. So because of that only, now I have shifted to Sony 4K camera, which is giving good result. But still further, nowadays I have even stopped taking Sony camera also, because 5DSR, when I switch on to video mode, majority of the videos which I was showing here, they are all taken directly from the 5DSR camera switching to video mode. But otherwise, for a normal photographer, I always suggest them to take the latest Olympus TG6, which is a wonderful camera. You can switch from the way Mr. Austin was asking, you can switch from the wide angle to macro very easily and macro to video very easily. And there are some video ports available now for the Olympus TG6. And cost wise also, if you have, say, around 1 lakh rupee, you can have a full set of camera, housing, doom port, video port, everything, and you get wonderful images also.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Shark attack is something which is an illusion. Sharks are more scared than any of your tigers, lions, or elephants in the water. So they are the moment you try to move little faster, they will go away super fast. So shark attack is something, just to tell you, human being kill more than 5 million sharks every year, whereas shark kill only 5 people every year. So to tell you how shark attack is relevant or irrelevant.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Once again, about this rockfish, how do you feel? You have any encounter with it? Because it normally doesn't move when you are moving around or
Rockfish,
even.
yeah, you mean to say stonefish.
Yeah. It
Stonefish
looks
or frogfish
very
or
similar to a
scorpionfish.
boat.
See, they are the very docile, non-moving. I mean, they are the stagnatory fishes. Majority of the times, generally, they are so well camouflaged, but little bit of variation will always be there. So our guides, usually what happens when we are going for scuba diving, generally I take one-to-one guide who will help me for the photography, and there will be one dive instructor for every 5 scuba divers. So generally when they see something, they understand very easily. Like for example, some of us in Kerala, how good they are in recognizing a pit viper on the stone, which is so well camouflaged. So like that, there are experts who immediately know, and they will have, usually only the dive guides and spotters are allowed to carry the stick, which will be around 1 feet in length. So they will direct us towards that direction without touching the fish, and they will tell us that direction we should not go. There is a symbol telling us not to go. And then for people like us who want to go, then there will be a dive guide who will show us where it is. So I will usually stay away. Like generally, we don't go head on to the stonefish because they move straight on the this thing on the dome port. So we will stay sidewise, and then we take 1 or 2 photographs and move away. That's all.
And what about lionfish?
Lionfish are very gentle fishes. They will never come to you. But lionfish actually, if the fin is touched, lionfish is very poisonous. Actually, one of the top 5 poisonous fishes. Lionfish is one of them. But at the same time, they neither come to you nor they go away. So you can stay away at least by say 3 or 4 feet. Unfortunately, time consume, time permission and other things. I could not show many of the seahorses, lionfish, stonefish, scorpionfish, and other things because it's a, there are at least in my own stock, there will be more than 600, 700 species of the fishes which I can show, but because of the time limit, I could not show. Otherwise, lionfishes are not so dangerous. Only when you approach them, they are dangerous. For example, I was just showing a moray eel here. The moray eels will always be like this. They keep opening their, closing their mouth, opening like this.
Yeah.
And there are some particularly, I'm sorry to say this, some Southeast Asian divers who are very notorious in the water. So they start fingering them like this. And then I have seen it through my own eyes when it got so fed up, it just had one jump on his finger, and next few seconds his finger was not there in his hand. So that is, it's not a mistake of the moray eel, it's a mistake of the man. So we human beings, I need not have to explain.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
എന്താ വിശേഷം?
And I think someone.
Yeah, some call must be there.
Okay. Any other questions? Otherwise, we'll wind up. Okay. I think that's all. So we'll take one more final group photo. Can you enable and be ready?
Yes, sir.
So, all ready. Vinod, where is Vinod? Enabled. Okay. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. 1 second. Yes. Thank you. Just.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for giving me this chance to meet so many of you interested. And thanks for the cooperation and patient listening. I don't know how good it was. Please do write to me to know better or write to me about how I can improve myself also. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Nanda Kumar. It was a wonderful session, and hope to
Welcome.
hear from you again for further sessions. We will discuss further for the upcoming sessions. Thank you so much once again, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
I
you,
will,
Viju. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Viju. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.